In this video, we're going to be looking at promoting your music online. We're going to go through 20 different methods and techniques that you can employ in your music promotion. Now, right out here on Front Street, I'm not an expert. In fact, I'm quite bad at self-promoting and promoting my music online. So we're going to be jumping into these 20 in just a moment. Now, the general advice here is to make sure that you're being interactive, right? Because social media is a two-way street. It's interactive. You want to interact with your end user. So that is something to keep in mind. Should we dive straight into it? I think we should. Let's go in here with number one, which is education. Yes, education is key to learning things. And the one person that I've always turned to when it comes to music and online distribution and education in this space, if we jump over here, is Mr. Damien Keys. He is the guy. He is the go-to. He provides really logical, sane, straightforward information without all the BS, without all the fluffiness. He doesn't overpromise. He just gives you good quality content. So you can jump over to his channel. There's links to all of this stuff down in the description. And by the way, there are timestamps there too. So if you are on the replay and you're watching this one after the fact, jump into the descriptions, check out the timestamps down there. But Damien Keys just gives you straightforward information about releasing your music, about promoting it on things like Instagram and getting your Spotify playlist placements and all of that sort of jazz. All the stuff that I don't really know about. So I'm in a learning process myself, and I'm hoping that you can learn as well. We'll jump into the next one, and that is releasing your music. Yeah, you can release your music, and you probably know this by now if you've been around the channel for a while and by my t-shirt, but I use and recommend DistroKid. Now, they are a channel sponsor, but they are also just an amazing group. I've been using them for years, well before they started sponsoring the channel, and they just make it super, super simple to get your music released to all the platforms. So the thing is, and I've said it before, DistroKid, for less than $20 per month, will help you release your music to a whole bunch of places. You can see all the music that I've released, and you can release an unlimited amount. So as many singles and EPs and albums as you like, you can push out with DistroKid. So I highly recommend them. And it's just a great way to make sure. So the people are like, well, can't I use other things like Bandcamp? Well, yeah, you absolutely can. Bandcamp is great. You can use SoundCloud to share your music. You can use slaps.com. You can use a lot of things to share your music. Why is distribution so cool though? It just means you're everywhere. So if someone's on Spotify, let's just do a quick look here. So if I just go over to spotify.com, and if someone wants to find your music, they can just search in here. I'm not even logged in. So they can just search in Spotify for your name, and it's going to pop straight up. So instead of you having to go, all right, you go to this link, and then you go to this link, and then you do this, and then you do this, you just jump straight in and go, just go wherever you listen to your music, go there and search the name Pete Johns. Or if you're someone like Russ8889, you go just search the Delicate Giants, or search Jade Star, or search whoever you are looking for. It's very cool. Number 3, YouTube. Now, this is my home away from home, and there's a bunch of different things you can do with YouTube. There's YouTube music, there's YouTube video, you can do lyric videos, you can do music videos, visualizations, you can do static images, you can do all sorts of things with your YouTube channel. Here is my YouTube channel that I have together, and my channel is a bit of a hybrid of music and education, because that's what I do here. But I've just shared my latest video, which many of the folks that are watching this live just came from, and that was this. And I used, again, DistroKid, their visualization through their Visi engine. Cost about $9 to produce this, but I got to produce this video here because we're all just a work in progress, which was really simple to do. And a bunch of folks came and watched the premiere of it, and now it's available there. So I can promote things with a cool looking graphic like that. And that took me literally like 2 minutes to do, because all I did was just press the button there in DistroKid. So using YouTube is important. Now, a lot of all these that we're talking about here, as I mentioned up front, two-way communication is key. So the thing about sharing on somewhere like YouTube or anywhere online is that you want to be able to share your information, but then if someone's interacting with you, actually respond to comments. That's key. It's two-way. It's called social media for a reason. It's not media. Regular media is just pushing out. Social media is pulling back in as well. So the number one recommendation I have on YouTube is to interact. If someone takes the time to watch your video, to check out your music on YouTube or any other platform, interact with them, respond to their comments. You may want to get a website. This is number 4. Websites are pretty darn cool. I've got a website here at studiolivetoday.com. The good news is what you can do here is just, even if you've got a simple landing page, even if this website didn't have all of my links and everything else, even if all it had was this, where people can come in here, they can check out my YouTube channel, they can check out my gear guide, they can go over to Facebook, they can check out my music. So if you've got just one place you can send people, it just makes it easy. So for me, I say, if you want to find out more about the channel and about what I do, just go to studiolivetoday.com. And if you want to check out my music, just go to petejohns.com. It's very, very simple thing to do. So a website is something you can do. And look, it's not super expensive or super difficult. I pay $20 a year through hover.com for my domain, and I use the free wordpress.com. So I pay virtually nothing to have my own website. It's just a bit of time to set it up and do your thing. Number 5 is what we're doing right now. Live streaming. So live streaming has come a huge way, and I use and recommend this service here called StreamYard. Once again, there's a link to this and a link to everything else down in the description that you can check out. But StreamYard is super cool because it allows you to stream not only to YouTube, but to Facebook, to Twitter, to Twitch, to all the different places. And I'm streaming to all those places right now. You can come in here, you can create a broadcast, you can set it up here to go to whatever different locations you want to. You put your title, your description, everything in here, and you set it up. Now you can use this for free. There's, again, the link down in the description. You can use it for free. The only thing with the free version, you can only stream for 20 hours per month, which is pretty generous, and you'll get this logo. You'll get the duck in the corner, which is actually kind of cute. So you can use StreamYard for free, and then if you want to upgrade to one of the pro accounts, you can. And the beauty part of this is that you can stream all sorts of things. You can stream your music. You could do some behind the scenes streaming. You could do some Q&As. You could even interview other people. If you're in a band, you can interview other members of the band, or you can get someone to come on the channel and interview you. I've done that before. I've had Jade Starr interviewing me. So you can flip things around. It's very, very cool. So live streaming for the win. Let's move to our next one, which is HyperFollow pages. Yeah, these are very, very cool. So DistroKid have their own HyperFollow pages that you've probably seen. And I've got one set up for my latest song. If you go to studiolivetoday.com/WIP, that takes you straight to my DistroKid HyperFollow page for my new song. And here's the cool thing. What folks can do here is that they can pre-save, so they can pre-save there, or they can buy it on iTunes. You can pre-order it on iTunes. This song doesn't come out for another day, but once it does come out, it'll populate out with all of the different stuff. And you can even customize these to put different things in there. You can add in your Facebook, and you can add in all other sorts of links in there. And you can even play. So if we go to one that's already been released, for instance, check this out. Look, it's got all of my links there along the top, all of my social media links, and then it's got all the places where people can listen to this song because it's released. And what will happen is, over time, the other one will be updated. So it's just another way that DistroKid do some pretty cool things for you. Now, not a DistroKid user, don't stress. There's some other options. My favorite other option, once again, linked in the description, is this one, SongWhip. Our man Wilson Page created this, and it's awesome. You can actually make a music link directly from here. All you need to do is paste in, or you can even search for it. If I just said Pete John's Imagination and search for one of my songs, it'll go in and it'll find a match, and it'll grab it here, and we can create a page. And in just a couple of seconds, look what we get here. We get our own customized follow page. And look at that, songwhip.com/PeteJohns/imagination. It's got my album artwork there. It's got all of the different things that we can do in there, all the places you can buy and stream and have fun with that song. So HyperFollow pages are a great way to share and promote your music. What about the old Instagram, hey? Well, I am not great at Instagram, and I'm actually learning a lot of Instagram promotion tips from our man Damien Keys that I mentioned before. But Instagram is a really good place because a lot of people are heavily into music on Instagram. And once again, the biggest tip I have with sharing on Instagram is to be careful about what you're sharing, because a lot of people will just try and say, I've got a new song out, and here's the album artwork, and then they'll just share the same thing. Got a fire new beat out, and they'll just keep sharing that. You've got to think in terms of what is going to make someone want to actually come and follow you. What is going to make someone want to come and actually look at that? And more importantly, what is going to make someone want to share something that you share? So once again, it could be something like a photo, it could be videos, you could use stories, but interacting with other people is super important too. If you're putting stuff out there into the ether and no one's following you, it's not actually going anywhere, is it? And the old link in bio stuff, like not many people are going to your bio. It's rare that they'll do that. So that's where things like a website can be cool. If you put something like the text on there. So for my song, when I'm promoting at the moment, I'll jump into Instagram, and if I just put there, go to petejohns.com/WIP, people are more likely to do that than to follow through and go to a link. Or maybe they're not. Or the even better one is because it's going to be released on all the platforms. Once it's out there, just search Pete John's Work in Progress in your favorite music streaming app. So it makes it really simple for people to find you. All right, Facebook. Some people love it, some people hate it. But Facebook is here, and it is a platform that a lot of people use. There's a huge audience on Facebook. So you can neglect Facebook, you can ignore Facebook, but you can't do it at your own risk. Here's my number one tip for Facebook, and the reason we're doing it in 3 sections for Facebook is generally your personal page is not your place to share your music. Yeah. So generally you don't want to share your music on your personal page. Why? Because not everyone's going to be into it. Yeah, if you have a really big release. So I'm releasing a song. Once my song comes out, I will probably put one post on my personal Facebook page just to tell family and friends, hey, I did a thing, and you can go and check it out because they don't follow me on the other pages. But more importantly is to have your own Facebook music page and participating in Facebook groups, which is what we're going to talk about right here, right now, because our next one is Facebook pages. You can set up your own Facebook page just for your music. Here's one I prepared earlier for Pete John's music. You can check the link down below and you can follow me here and you can do whatever you want. But you can see here, we can put links directly into here and you can share things like this exact stream. That's the last thing I shared there. You can share things like our big Songtember that's coming up here. So it gives you one-stop shop for all your music-related stuff. And the thing is that the people that follow me here, I have no idea how many followers I have because, again, pretty bad at things. There you go, 899 people that follow me here, as opposed to the few hundred people that are on my Facebook page. I know that everyone here is here for the music. I know that no one is here that doesn't care about music because they're following my Facebook music page. So set yourself up a Facebook page, an artist page. It's super simple. There's a video here on the channel. If you search Pete John's Facebook page, it will show you how to create your own musician page right here on Facebook. It's very cool. Facebook, yeah. The other cool thing is Facebook groups. Now, if you've been hanging around here for a while, you would realize that I participate in a couple of groups that I recommend. If you're a GarageBand user, you want to check out the GarageBand users Facebook group. And if you're not, if you're a creator, if you like the stuff we do here, if you want to learn how to create, record, and release your music, guess what? Jump on over to Create, Record, Release. Yeah, we've got 1,000+ people there. There's a bunch of really cool people. We're sharing a lot of cool stuff. So you can come in here and see, again, with a group, you can pin your stuff to the top there. We've got Ron Ward doing his shows there. I've got this show and some other things pinned to the top there. And then there's all the activity that goes on. I won't show it because it's a private group, but there's a bunch of activity and it's interactive. So the good thing about a Facebook group is that people are asking questions. Now, I'll pause here to say that, again, when you're sharing on Facebook or Instagram or Twitter or anywhere or YouTube, you've got to think in terms of two-way communication, because just going into a Facebook, I've seen people do this before. It doesn't work. They go into every Facebook group about music and they just spam it. They're like, yo, check out my fire beat. Yo, check out my fire beat. Yo, check out my fire beat. It doesn't work. It'll result in a couple of things. You'll annoy people, or people will ignore you, or people will block you, or you'll get kicked out of the group. None of those things are positive. And the few people that decide to click your link and maybe happen to like it, it's not worth it. It's not worth spamming. It's not worth going out there. A better way to go is to join groups that are relevant to your type of music and use about a 5-to-1 ratio. For every time you throw something out there, interact 5 times with other people and their music. And that will just give you that reputation as someone that's not in it for them. It's not just about you, but you're actually trying to help other people as well. So the more two-way communication that you can do and the more you can share in other people's journey, the better off you're going to be. And thank you, Thomas. Yes, you can join the Create, Record, Release Facebook group. Just go to createrecordrelease.com. Let's move on. Number 11, Twitter. So Twitter has been around a while, and Twitter's a little bit different from a lot of the other platforms because, again, it's more about a conversation. It's more about talking about things. So Twitter is cool for getting into conversations, sometimes arguments, but conversations with people about music. You can still share stuff. And at this point, I'll pause to say the key to things like Facebook and Twitter and YouTube is native content. What is native content? Well, native content is actually putting your video or your image or your audio or your text directly into the platform and not linking out. Why is that important? Well, the platforms want to keep you there. So if you are linking out to another platform, then they're less likely to actually promote you. They're less likely to actually put you front and center than if you actually have it. Now, do I take my own advice? No, because here on Twitter, I just linked out to my premiere video that I just did then. But what I do is sometimes I make sure that I'm just doing a text post, or I'm doing an image post, or I'm adding a native video straight into Twitter. So there's things that you can do. I'm not following Gary Hubbs. There you go. Or Celine. I'm going to follow them. There's things that you can do to actually interact more effectively on the platform. And it's why just doing one thing and then just dumping it on every platform doesn't really work. Because as we've already talked about, Instagram's more sort of that quick snapshot video, audio experience. Facebook is more about interacting with other people. Twitter's more about the conversation, the water cooler style. There's different types of content you want to put in each one of those. So just keep that in mind, that not all platforms are created equal. Number 12. Oh, I know. Don't come at me. TikTok is a thing, and you don't have to. Again, none of this is prerequisite. I'm giving you 20 ideas. You may take one of them or two or three, but I'm giving you 20 ideas, and you can go and work through them as you like. But you'll not use TikTok kind of at your own detriment, because it's a big audience. They like music. And it's not just teenagers dancing anymore. I know, I thought it was as well. And I'd like to hate on TikTok. I really would. I really want to. But I can't, because it's actually becoming reasonably legitimized. Now, have I had much success on TikTok? No, not really. But the weird thing is that from not really doing much and just sharing some random stuff, and the cool thing about TikTok is it doesn't have to be super relevant. Like, I think when you're doing Facebook and Twitter and YouTube and you've got these music pages, it all needs to be pretty much about your music. TikTok, you can have some fun. So you can see here I did some fun things about lyrics of Red Hot Chili Peppers songs, about the fact that I have to keep a dongle in my wallet for my headphones all the time. So you can basically do different interesting kind of things. You can still share music and stuff. So, and it's weird because occasionally you'll just get something that for whatever reason a lot of people will pay attention to. And that can just lead to people knowing who you are and knowing a little bit about your brand. Because remember, whether you call it branding or reputation or whatever other wanky term you want to throw in there, it's important. Because you need to make sure that if people know who you are, they know what you stand for and they know what your music's all about. So yeah, TikTok is a thing. If you don't want to use it, you don't have to, but it's an option. As is this one. And you're going to say, Pete, LinkedIn is just for weird corporate people flexing about how cool their corporate life is. Yeah, kind of. But it's also where people in business go to hang out and where they go to make deals and where they go to chat. And the reason that I say, once again, if you ignore LinkedIn, you're ignoring an opportunity, is when we talk about things in a moment like radio and like people in the music industry, guess what? They're over here. If you are looking at doing brand deals, the people that are the brand managers for different companies, they're in LinkedIn. And you know what? Those brand managers, say you're a brand manager for a record label, or say you're a radio station DJ, they're getting hit up on Twitter and Instagram and Facebook all the time. You know where they're not getting hit up on? LinkedIn. But this is where business happens. So if you're looking to do business, if you want to take your music, and at the moment it's a hobby, but you want to turn it into a business, and you want to reach out to someone who's a DJ or reach out to someone who's a brand manager or a marketing manager, this is where you can often find them. And oftentimes they'll respond to you more on a platform like LinkedIn because it's taken as more serious. If you set yourself up a reasonably good serious page there with a little bit about you and your artist info and your information, and then you contact someone, they're like, this person's pretty switched on. This isn't someone that just wants me to check out their fire beats. This is a musician who is taking their creation seriously. And when I say seriously, of course you can still have fun, but there's some serious elements to it as well. Let's move on. Number 14, and that is merchandise. I've got a merch page. A lot of people have merch pages these days, and it is an interesting way. It won't work for everyone, but it's a good way to kind of get your brand out there and a bit of brand recognition. So I've got a merch page over at studiolivetoday.com/merch, and I've actually been doing it wrong. I've been watching some videos this week and listening to some, because I've been planning for this for a while now, and I'm trying to level up my skills. I'm trying to learn so that I can teach, because sometimes the best way to learn and the best way to teach is to learn and then pass that on. Now, what I've found is that, yeah, a Studio Live Today mug or hoodie is cool, but what's really captured people's imagination is when we create things around a bit of a meme. So this Sharon is Karen is because on my Your Music live show, we do like Sharon is Karen. Remember, sharing is caring, Sharon is Karen. And people like that sort of fun stuff. The same with like this practice makes progress that our man Brad designed here. That's cool sort of stuff. We made an optimizing performance t-shirt at one point for the people in GarageBand that are frustrated by optimizing performance. So it is often more important to find something fun. It doesn't have to be your face. It doesn't have to be your logo. but you can actually create this. And what I'm learning at the moment is instead of making yet another Studio Live Today logo shirt, what I should be doing is thinking about what's something cool that people want. So I think we need not some mugs. I think we need some pint glasses next up with some sort of meme or some sort of something interesting on there that people are going to like. If you want to set up your own store, anyone can do it. This is the beautiful part about the future. We live in the future, people, and you can create your own merch store. Just go to somewhere like Teespring. This is what I use, but there's dozens of different ones. But Teespring is just integrated into YouTube, and it's probably the most well-known and easiest one. And I know some people have said, look, Teespring's quality is not right up there. However, it's improved over time. So, and you can actually set your different quality. So there's the premium t-shirts as well as the original ones that are over there at Teespring. So go and check it out. Dawn's here live and she says, work in progress t-shirt for sure. Yeah, very cool. I definitely need to create that with the work in progress logo. That would be cool. See, there you go. These are ideas that come out about things. So there you go. I'm going to go do that. I will be creating a work in progress t-shirt. It'll be linked in the description probably by the time you watch this. Let's talk 15. Performing. Yes, you're a musician, you're an artist, you can perform. Yeah, you can actually go out there and perform. You can go and do open mic nights, you can go and busk, you can go and do band nights, you can even go and try and get paid gigs. And remember what we said about LinkedIn? Guess what? Guess where venue managers hang out? Yeah, guess where pub owners that are trying to book things hang out? Yeah, sometimes on LinkedIn. So again, don't dismiss that. Now, obviously here in 2021, excuse me, one moment please. The joy of life. Obviously here in 2021, not everywhere is going to be able to be completely open and able to perform. But again, remember, you could probably combine two of these, because what did I do? When all the stuff happened in March of 2020, I combined this with this. Yeah. So once a week, I do a happy hour show. So I play for 1 hour every week. I do a 1 hour set every week. And for the last 18 months, I've been doing that. So you can combine some of these together. So I've combined the performing with the live streaming, and then I've combined the Facebook groups because I share it in the Create, Record, Release group because that's a whole bunch of other music creators. And then I put it on my Facebook page and I share to that as well. So you can combine all of these things. Why not do many? You don't have to do just one thing. So performing is a thing. Now, I've put paid advertising all the way down at 16. The reason being is that I think people are often, when it comes to promotion, looking for shortcuts, and they're looking for the quickest and easiest way to do. And they think, if I just throw $50, $100, $200 into Facebook ads or Instagram ads or some sort of ads, then that's going to work for me, yeah? And to a certain extent, it does. But the problem with paid advertising is that we are swamped now. So how many times have you been scrolling through your Facebook or your Instagram and you've seen something pop up and it's like, hey, we're a great new band. And you're just like, yeah, okay, fair enough. And you scroll past. What you need to do is learn how to make compelling content first that gets organic reach, and then utilize the paid tools. The reason that I don't use paid advertising is that I haven't honed my skills to the point where I think that I'm getting enough organic reach. What people do is they get frustrated that they're not getting organic reach, which basically just means free. Organic means you get it out there organically without sort of adding anything to it, and they jump straight into the paid advertising route. Problem being that if you're putting content out there that's not even being viewed by people when they come across it without an ad, they're definitely not going to care about it if it comes across with an ad. A good example of good use of this is that there's a record store that's popped up in my Facebook feed a bunch of time. It's called, and now I've forgotten the name, so it's going to be terrible, but it's like 12 Inches and Records, and it's a shop here in Adelaide. And I got this ad twice. And I'm like, this sounds really interesting, to the point where I messaged the guy on Facebook, and it's a guy called Mick, and I said, Mick, this is really interesting. You're starting a record store. I'd love to have you on the channel and have a chat. And he said, yeah, cool, Pete. I'm busy at the moment, but yeah, in October, I'll have some time. We'll get together. We'll have a chat. So for him, that may have not been his intent, but he definitely got the key demo. He got a music person in Adelaide that wanted to interact with him. So sometimes paid advertising can work, and it can be effective in those particular ones. Let's continue. Promoters. Again, we've stuck this down the bottom because promoters are okay, but it's kind of like people selling courses. The fake gurus have ruined it for people that are legitimately trying to sell a quality course, because there are so many people now trying to launch a course and trying to tell you that they're an expert and selling you their $97 course that's $1,297 of value, that it's really hard to separate the wheat from the chaff, so to speak. So if you are looking for a promoter, my number one tip is to talk to people that have actually used them before. So be super careful and try to find someone that's got a track record. follow through, follow the money, and try to find people that are real humans that have actually interacted with this person. The reason that I like recommending Patrick at the GarageBand Guide is that he's a real human. And if someone wants to learn GarageBand, I know that he stands behind what he produces because it's quality content and he sells it for a reasonable price. And I'm happy to promote him on that. There are other GarageBand and music creation courses as well where you can't even really work out who the person behind it is because they've tried to scale it up and they've tried to do. So those sort of things are tough. Now, the thing to look out for with promoters is that if it's too good to be true, it probably is. So if it sounds too good to be true, it's almost definitely too good to be true. So when it comes to actually finding a promoter, if you find someone and they say, hey, WhatsApp me, and for $50, I'll get you 1,000 followers on Spotify, yeah, that's likely going to be someone using some sort of low-paid farm where they're actually just going in and doing fake streams and fake follows, or some sort of bot, and both of those are super dangerous. Anyone that's promoting it, again, if it's too good to be true, it usually is, and there's really no shortcuts. I know we're in a world where everything's an instant on, always on kind of environment, but there's really no shortcuts when it comes to promoting your stuff. You still need to do the hard work, and you can't scale something that's already crap. Otherwise, you're just going to pour more money on top of something that's crap. So hone your stuff. And the good news is you can hone it without having to spend a lot of money and without taking the risk. Because guess what? You use a dodgy promoter, they use bots or they use like farms of people being paid a pittance to stream your music or to get you followers. And you get found out, you get kicked off the platform. No questions. It's not, some people say it's unfair. I didn't know. Yeah, it doesn't have to be fair because it's a private system. They can just say, you're out. See you later. You're off Spotify, you're off Apple Music. You get a red cross next to your name. So be super duper careful when it comes to promoters because there's a lot of unscrupulous people out there. All right. Next up, radio stations. This is something that I need to explore more. I saw a great interview between Jade Starr and Andy Goldsby of the Indigo Sunsets, and I'll link that. I haven't linked it at the moment, but if you're watching on the replay, I'll link it. Someone like the wonderful Thomas, moderator here, may be able to link it for us here in the chat. But they talked about the fact that radio is still a thing. And getting played on the radio isn't as hard as you think it is. Because again, a lot of radio stations these days, there are the traditional terrestrial radio stations that are owned by iHeartRadio, that are corporate, that have their playlists that are just handed to them by the music industry, and they have to play whatever they're paid to play, because payola in radio is still a thing. But there's also a lot of independent stations, of government-owned stations. Like here in Australia, we have the great Triple J, which is owned by the ABC, the Australian Broadcasting Corporation. And I just jumped on here and had a quick look around after I watched the great interview between Andy and Jade, and I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, there's some programs here. Oh, look, there's I remember Home and Hose. This is like a local music program. Oh, look, Declan Byrne is the dude that hosts it. I bet I can come in here and follow him. Oh, yeah, look, we can follow on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram. What if I go through the Facebook rabbit hole? Where will that go? Why is it going to Dr. Carl? Okay, Triple J, fix your links, because you've taken me to Dr. Carl's page when I tried to click on Declan Byrne. But there you go. Usually you'll go to the right person and then you can find them and then have a chat to them, because a lot of these have real people, and especially the internet radio stations, they'll have real people behind them. And that's, again, guess what? Where your LinkedIn can come in. Search your favorite radio station on LinkedIn and find the people that are actually working in the radio station. And don't underestimate the power of chatting to someone who's like a personal assistant or an executive assistant. If you make friends with them, I've learnt this in 20 years of corporate. If you are nice to everyone and you're really kind and you help people out where you can, it is the gatekeepers, it is the receptionists, it is the personal assistants, it's the executive assistants to the big wigs that have too much time or too little time and are too important. They're the ones that can get you in the door. Yeah, so don't forget that. Playlists I've put all the way down here. You know why? Because I don't know enough about playlists. And people seem to obsess about getting on playlists. And they think that as soon as they get on that big Spotify playlist from that big content creator, then they're going to be done. Like that. They're cool. And it's fleeting. It's kind of like thinking that getting one viral video is going to make you a YouTuber overnight. It's not going to work that way. Now, I'm trying to learn more about playlists, and because when I'm trying to learn about things, I come over to this guy, to Mr. Damien Keys. He has a video here where he talks about how to get onto Spotify playlists for free, guaranteed. Now, yeah, look, is that a bit of clickbaitiness? A little bit, but it's actually a really good video, and I highly recommend watching it just to learn a little bit about what's going on behind the scenes and how you might be able to leverage that into actually getting yourself onto some playlists. Beware, though. Just like the promoters, beware of people that you have to pay to get you onto playlists. Because, number one, the playlists that you pay to get onto are usually full of other people who have paid to get onto, which means the quality is poor, which means the end users are not actually listening to those playlists. Yeah. And the other thing is that quite often, if they're getting you onto the bigger playlists and you're paying to get on there, then they're the ones that can often get shut down, because Spotify and other places don't actually like it. They don't like it when people are paying to get payola to get onto playlists. So do be super careful with that. Last but not least, and this is an underrated thing, don't forget about sub for sub. Yeah, it works really well. If you're on YouTube, you can just say, hey, check out my channel and I'll sub to your channel and you sub to mine. Same on Spotify. Hey, if you follow me, I'll follow you. Let's have a listening party. Let's get 20 people together and all listen to other people's music and just set it on in the background and stream and stream and stream so that our vanity metrics grow, so that the dopamine can hit our brain and so that we can feel really good about ourselves. Or none of that at all, because it's a complete crock. Sub for sub doesn't work for a lot of reasons, but the number one primary reason is it's against the terms of service of basically every platform. So if you've got a group of friends, or if you're joining these grow together groups, doesn't matter what they're called, what you're doing is probably breaching the terms of service. And look, I don't care about the morals and the ethics of it. Like, if you find a way to hack a platform and it works, more power to you. But the thing is, when you get caught, you get kicked off. And a lot of people are getting caught. Last year alone, a lot of people got kicked off from DistroKid for a lot of this sort of fake promoting and sub for sub culture and all of this stuff through Apple Music and through Spotify. And yeah, they were after the fact, they were like, hey, I didn't know. And guess what? Ignorance, not a defense. If you click that, I know we never read the terms of service, but as soon as you tick that tick box and say, yes, I agree, then you're agreeing to it, whether you read it or not, whether you understand it or not. So be really careful with this stuff. Because subscribing, and the other reason, the thing I'll put on the other end of that is that the vanity metrics, there's a couple of things that they do well, and that is that when you're talking with brands or you're talking with other people, you can look a bit more important. But the thing is, so many people have fake subscribers, fake followers, fake plays, that the brands and the big wigs are actually cluing into this, and they'll start looking more about your engagement rather than your numbers. So for me, people look at this channel and they'll be like, you got 95,000 subscribers. But guess what? If I wasn't putting out regular content, if I wasn't getting engagement, if I wasn't getting comments, if I wasn't getting likes, if I wasn't getting views on the daily, then people are going to go, so what? You got 95,000 people that are not engaged, that don't care about you. So that's the difference between having a vanity metric that matters and having a metric just for the sake of it. So please, you do you, boo. But if you go out there and you do sub for sub, and you end up getting caught and you end up getting kicked off of a platform, we warned you. A bit like backing up, right? We warned you to back up, and if you don't back up and you lose all your stuff, guess what? You're SOL, which as we know means sort of out of luck. Did you enjoy that? I needed to rant. I needed to get all of that off my chest. So for those that have been here live, thank you for being here. For those that are watching on the replay, I hope you got some value out of that. If you want to hit the like button, hit the thumbs up, you can do that. Now we are going to open things up. We're going to open up for your comments and your questions and anything that you want to ask about or add in here. Yeah, Hacker Pete. Rules are for breaking, are they, Russ? There you go. And yeah, if you would like to hit the like button, you're more than welcome to do so. So thank you again to all those that joined me for the premiere of my song today. I wanted to do this one as almost as a lecture to myself as much as a lecture to you folks, because I'm learning. And I think, as I said, some people will be critical and they'll be like, Pete, you basically just said you don't know how to do this, and then I'm telling you how to do it. But I honestly think that the best time to learn, or the best time to teach, is when you are learning yourself. And I've always said, like, if you want to teach piano or guitar, and there was a Simpsons thing, I think it was Simpsons, where it's like, you just got to be one lesson ahead of the kid. Like, you don't, if you're a professional, in fact, sometimes the more you know, the harder it is for you to actually relate to people that don't know it. Have you ever had that experience where you're learning something and the person teaching you is so far ahead of you that they can't actually come back to the basics of, like, how do I hold the guitar? And in fact, there's a really cool Australian show called Love in Lockdown. And it's about this, a girl and a guy, and he teaches ukulele online, and she joins in with him. And yeah, he gets really frustrated, and it's just like, yeah, here's play F, A minor, C, G. And she's just like, I don't know how to hold it. And it just reminded me of that sometimes you do get into this cycle where you're learning from people that know too much. Gotham just paid off the loan for radio broadcasting. Haven't worked in the field in 15 years. Well, there you go. Yeah, it's good. And we've got a lot of people in this community that have experience. So that's the other thing. We talked about the Facebook group. Even if you're not into Facebook, and I know not everyone loves their Facebook. Yeah, I get it. But it's worth joining. And I've often said there are some people that have actually joined us over on the Create, Record, Release Facebook group, and they don't use Facebook at all. They've just created their own separate private account. You don't have to tell Auntie Doris because she's going to want to see pictures of the dog. You don't have to tell anyone that you're on there. You can just join the private group and then interact with other creators. It's just a good platform because you can share video, you can share photos, you can share text, and it kind of organizes it in a decent way. So that's why we use that. Chris Busy says, if you can take the time to EQ a track, you can take the time to read the terms of service. What a great analogy. Yeah, if you've got enough time to sit there and painstakingly EQ your track with like 12 bands, then surely you can read some terms of service. And look, I don't read every terms of service, but when it's a contract and it comes to you and your music and there's some do's and don'ts, or go onto YouTube and just search important YouTube terms of service or important Spotify terms of service. I'm sure someone like me has made a 10-minute video that will summarize, a 200-page terms of service that you'll be able to do. All right. We'll see if we've got any other questions. Dawn says, I probably didn't cover this in detail with the merchandise stuff, but yeah, if you do want to create your own merch, you don't have to pay anything. And I probably didn't make that clear at all. So I'm just trying to find the Teespring page up here. Where did I put my merchandise? There it is. So the cool thing about places like this is it's called on-demand printing. So it means that you don't have to have boxes in your garage full of t-shirts and mugs. I don't have any of these. I have the ones that I wear myself and the ones that I've bought my kids and my wife, and that's it. If anyone else wants to buy one, guess what? You come in here, you're like, yep, I'd like a Studio Live Today t-shirt, please. You come into here, Teespring says, yep, what color? I'm going to go green. What size do you want? I'm an XL. You add it to your cart, and then Teespring goes to their distributor, and they say, please print one green XL t-shirt. And then that gets sent. The cost price of that is deducted from the sale price, and you get the difference. It's as simple as that. It's a great way to do it because there's no wastage. It's great for the environment. There's no risk to you. You can create as many designs as you like, and if no one buys them, no harm, no foul. You don't pay a single cent. So yeah, merchandise is not what it used to be. You don't have to think, oh, what are people going to want to buy, and how do I ship it, and how do I manage that? Yeah, you pay a little bit more for the privilege, but you don't have any of that. Question, do you use LinkedIn? I sure do. I use LinkedIn. Just search me on LinkedIn. Did I show my LinkedIn page when we were doing that? Yeah, I did. So you can go to LinkedIn. It's not. Look, it's has its place, but it's not everyone. It's not everyone's cup of tea, which is fine. Robble says, I may only have 10 likes on a vid, but I have the moral high ground. That's what I tell myself. Yeah. And that's the thing. Look, and I know it's frustrating. I don't begrudge anyone who tries any of these hacks and techniques and sub for subs and things because it's frustrating. I did it, right? I'm 6 years into this, and for the first year I had less than 100 subscribers. That's something that you need to keep in mind, that it is, I know it's cliched, but it's a marathon, not a sprint. It really is just about continuing on and having the guts and determination, because what you're going to have, if you've got resilience to push through when others don't, that's going to be your key thing, because that's everyone. The barrier of entry is so low now. Everyone can create a Facebook page, everyone can release with DistroKid, everyone can get their music out there, but if you're the one that just keeps coming back and doing it again and again, improving, growing and growing, you're not going away. That's where you can actually benefit, because there's so many people that have very short attention spans and just want the instant dopamine hit that they get frustrated, they lose patience, and they leave. So the stayers, the marathoners are going to be the ones that are going to be there. The sprinters, they'll be down the pub having a beer. Actually, that sounds kind of nice. Thank you, Scott. I appreciate it. Thank you for the kind words there. LinkedIn is a separate profile for me, focused on my professional life as opposed to my music career. Really good point, Sion. I didn't update my LinkedIn. I was on a bit of a tenuous thing with my job, because it's always a bit weird when you're doing anything that's a side hustle. And this was, for the longest time for me, Studio Live Today and my music. While it was a business, it was a side business. And corporate employers, for the most part, don't really care about that until they do. So I kept it not a secret, because obviously it's still all out there public, but I didn't plaster my LinkedIn profile, which I knew a lot of people that I worked with would be looking at, with a whole lot of music stuff until I left the corporate world and focused in on music. So yeah, I understand it. If you do want to keep things separate from your LinkedIn, then yeah, that's understandable, because I did that. I have a lot of followers on my YouTube page, but most of them are foreign, so not sure how that works. Yeah, so and that does happen. So someone mentioned at the start of this that they found me because of a particular video that I did, which was a video about how to. We'll just come in here, Pete John's clean headphone. So if you actually, in fact, if you just search headphones not working in YouTube, I'm pretty sure I'm result number 3. So for a pretty generic term, people are like, oh, my headphones don't work. And then they see this one, and for whatever reason, the pictures of my cruddy looking thumbs and fingers poking a toothpick into a hole resonated with people. So this has had 1.4 million views, and a lot of people discover me from this. In fact, if I go in, I'll jump into my analytics, because this will be interesting. I've never actually looked at this, but if I go to the analytics of this video, it'll actually tell me how many subscribers I've gained just from this video. Okay, it's not as bad as I thought it was. Let's see. We'll go all time, but since uploaded lifetime. Yeah. So here's a concern for me, and that is that with this one video, I've managed to have 6,500 subscribers from just this one video. So yeah, it's been a good money earner for me. It's made like more than $2,000 in its lifetime, which is 3 years, which again sounds like a lot until you realize that that's over 3 years. But it's also meant that the 1.4 million viewers, 6.7 thousand people that have subscribed to this channel are people that just wanted to clean the gunk out of their headphone jack. Now, are they people that are interested in creating and recording and releasing music? Some of them are not. So there's people that are subscribed to this channel that watch that video and have probably never watched another video in their life. So it's a weird thing, Dawn. You kind of just have to roll with it and realize that. And that's why people often ask me, they're like, oh, you put videos out there and you get anywhere from like 200 to 1,000, sometimes 2,000 views in the first week. Why is that? You got 95,000 subscribers. And the thing is, not everyone's interested in everything. As opposed to someone like Mr. Beast, who people subscribe to, they love everything he does because he hones he's doing entertainment content. There's a difference between entertainment content and how-to content. I may do a how-to video about how to EQ a guitar. You don't play guitar. Are you going to watch that? Probably not. So it's something to, I don't know if I really answered your question there, except to say that, yeah, look into your analytics and see where they're from. And sometimes you're just going to have subscribers that just hit the button that are not really your end user. That's not worth worrying about. Let's scroll down here. Radio stations have web forms to submit music these days. Try Triple R in Melbourne. Yeah, cool. And I should do that. I should actually go to some of the more. I didn't mention that, but there's obviously like independent stations, college stations, a lot of others. Sharon is indeed Karen. Yeah, talking of Teespring, they have the storefront. Teespring are cool. Definitely jump in and do that. Mentioned it earlier, Pete, but when you create a DistroKid HyperFollow for a new release, when people pre-save it, collects their email addresses so you can create a list to keep them updated. Yeah, exactly. And it does tell them that. If you're thinking, oh, that sounds dodgy, what about privacy? What about all that sort of thing? It says it right there. So if you go to, if we go to my DistroKid HyperFollow page, and let's go to the one for work in progress, then yeah, see here, it says share email address with artist. So you will get the person's email address if you're the artist, if you do that, and if someone pre-saves you onto Spotify. I should probably customize this at the moment, shouldn't I? Let's just edit this, because you can add in your, there's the links there. You can put a different link in there. You know what I'll do? I'll add the link to the premiere video that I did. Where is that premiere video? I've got to find it now. Hang on. I'll just come off here, so I'm not going to show anything that I'm not allowed to. Go back to my content and grab a link to this premiere video, and we'll slot it back into that DistroKid HyperFollow page, because this should put the if we add a new link and we make it YouTube and we put it here, you can add Vimeo, you can add all sorts of different things, and we'll say I won't do my social media now, but I should probably update that later. Yeah, look at that. Now, even though it hasn't been released yet, people can click the YouTube link and it will drop them over to check out this, because I've actually released it. Oh, who dared dislike my video? Ah, the shame of it all. That's fine. People dislike stuff. Ideal. In fact, I'm probably too thick-skinned these days. I said that to my wife the other day. I'm like, the problem I have is that I need to make sure I actually still listen to feedback, because when you are in the public and you're creating content and putting it out there, a lot of the time you learn to not care about what people say. So you end up becoming too thick-skinned, if that's a real thing. Yeah, I'm still a work in progress. That's a good idea. Beggars can't be pickers. Just I'm still a, and then the logo work in progress. Yeah, that could be cool. We'll just see. We've got 5 minutes left here because I literally am on a hard limit. Because at 9:30, I've been told by the NBN, who are our infrastructure for the internet here, that they're doing some work. So it may not. It may not. We may just drop out. So if I go, then thanks, it's been real. Facebook is very switched on when it comes to restricting reach. I'm not linking out to other platforms, but pushing my song, for example, reach is very low, even with plenty of shares. Boost for 20 euro, anyone? Yeah. And the other thing is with Facebook, create yourself an ad. Don't use just the boost feature because you get more control and you can do more targeting. If you just boost it, Facebook just kind of guesses where they want it to be. Question actually about my Facebook page. Oh, okay. Yeah, well, same sort of concept, I guess, on Facebook as opposed to YouTube, is that some people will just follow you for random reasons. But and the cool thing is, ask them. If you've got a group of followers, this week I said, hey, to my YouTube followers, what do you want to see in October? Because here's the thing, I made the assumption that I've done so much GarageBand that I should be doing some other things. But I went out to the audience here and I said, what do you want to see in October? GarageBand, other stuff, or something specific? 81% of people said GarageBand. They want to see more GarageBand. So they came here for GarageBand and they want to see more of it. So that tells me that if 80% of people want GarageBand and I'm making 5 videos a week, I should probably make 4 about GarageBand and 1 about something else, not 4 about something else and 1 about GarageBand. Otherwise, I'm not serving my core audience. Make sense? Yes. Time to submit to work in progress. Oh, really? I wasn't talking to you, Siri, so that's probably good. Algorithms are indeed strange. I put my art on Instagram and people like several posts at once. Spam like it seems to negatively affect your reach. It is weird when you have the stalker effect where people just come in and like a lot of stuff. Bizarre. MailChimp for email marketing, pretty awesome. Yeah, we didn't talk email marketing, which is another one. And if you do have other things that you suggest, drop them in the comments. I would definitely recommend, because I'm not going to have covered everything. I will promote you for $100. Don't pay Russ $100. Don't just give him $100, but do go and check out his album, because speaking of releasing music and promoting music, Russ is doing a great job of it. Let's jump over Russ 8889. Let's use a bit of a test case here for someone who's done it right. So Russ's channel over here, he has 283 subscribers, so he's got a decent base of people there. He's been releasing a bunch of videos lately, all about his album. So if we come in here to his video, he's got different versions of his album. He's been promoting them through different channels, through here, through Jade's channel, through the sound test room, and he's just he's grinding it out. He's making sure that there's enough out there, and the number of people who have now bought the album or are streaming the album on a regular basis is amazing, because he's just out there in their face. And I took a bit of inspiration from Russ with this time around, because the thing is, there's 2 ways to look at this. There's, don't just go out there and put your stuff everywhere, because people will get sick of you and they'll think you're spamming and they'll block you and they'll hate you. Or you can say, get your stuff out there, because people have so much information these days. The chances that they're seeing your thing more than once is pretty slim. So if you get your stuff out to a bunch of places, someone may see it once. But if you only get it out once, the chances that they're going to see it at all are pretty slim. It's kind of like the old Wayne Gretzky quote of, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. If I just had this song and I put one post on my one page, one time about my song Work in Progress, it might get to 20% of people. If I do that 5 times, maybe it gets to 40% of people. If I do it 10 times, maybe it gets to 60. And the algorithms are smart enough to realize that they're not going to keep repeatedly giving the same person with the same stuff to the same end user. But I may do it a different way. Some people may like a story. Some people may like the post that's just text. Some people may want to watch the video. So using different methods to get your stuff out there is a good way to go. All right, we are going to have to finish off here. Can you make a video on how to make a hit record? When I learn, I'll do it. I need to get a hit record first. See, that's the thing. I unlike a lot of the gurus out there, I'm not going to try and sell you on information and how to do something that I can't do myself. There's plenty of other people that will tell you how to make a hit record that haven't made a hit record out there as well. And there you go. See, because Russ is a good guy and Russ sends me a t-shirt of his band and he's promoting himself and doing all the good things, John Frank is now going to go over and check out Russ's album and probably love it, as I know you will as well. Thank you everyone for being here. I hope you had a good time here. Don't forget, if you did miss the premiere, you can jump on over and check out the video over on the channel. It is this one here, Work in Progress. Once again, you can just search my name and Work in Progress, or you can just go to studiolivetoday.com/WIP for Work in Progress, and you can. Nobody's got it figured out. Yes, we're all just. And you can catch that one there. And I hope you got some value out of these tips. Once again, if you have any of your own tips, if you've had success with different methods, if you've got any questions you'd like to ask the hive mind that is the Studio Live Today community, drop those down in the comments. Now, as we say at the end of every show, please be kind to yourself. Please be kind to others, because it's a two-way street here, and keep creating. Don't forget, it'll tell you straight after this show, it'll send you to the live stream for our Songtember live stream coming up. We've also got the Creator Town Hall where we'll be talking all things Songtember. That's coming up in about 36 hours time. So that's a good one for the folks in the UK and Europe. If you usually miss the live streams, you can catch that one. And then, of course, our big Songtember Your Music Live coming up. Remember, folks, we are all just a work in progress. Nobody's got it figured out, not even me. Thanks, everyone. I'll see you next time. Bye.